Wow, wow, wow. So we're only 2 weeks into the year and we got our biggest announcement in the AI world that just absolutely sent shockwaves throughout the entire ecosystem. And that's the Deepseek R1 release, which is the world's first open sourced AI system that we can use with their API, which is absolutely unbelievable. This puts OpenAI on its heels and this absolutely changes everything once again. And in this video, guys, we're going to break everything down. We're going to explain why the R1 release is game changing. We're going to explain what it means for the AI race as a whole, and then we're going to set up our own Deepseek model using the Replit agent to see how it actually performs in reality. Really quick, my name's Kev. I'm on path to make over 7 figures this year in the AI world with my own software companies, and I teach people to do the same thing in my no-code academy, building their own agencies and their own AI SaaS. So really quick, if you're interested in joining the academy, then feel free to join, but let's get into this video. So the first reason why R1's absolutely game-changing, guys, is the performance, right? So we're holding the same performance as the OpenAI O1 model, but it's not held behind this $20 a month pro plan, and its usage is not limited. When O1 first came out, you can only use it like 10 to 15 times a day before you're limited by the rates. And so that was very annoying, especially since we had to pay for it, and we couldn't even see what the O1 model was doing behind the scenes because it was a closed source model. So this beats it in both regards. Now, the second reason why the R1 release is game-changing, guys, is that the R1 API is 26 times cheaper than the OpenAI O1 API. So your applications are now going to be very, very profitable while using the best-in-class models. So this is game-changing, guys. And in this picture, we can see that the output price for the Deepseek R1 model is only $2.20 for 1 million tokens, whereas the O1 model is $60. So this is an insane decrease in costs. And even for my own software applications like StockTalk and Clonify, we weren't using the OpenAI O1 model because it just destroyed our margins, but now we can actually start adding reasoning models to our applications. Now, the third reason why this release is game-changing is the reason why I'm most excited, and that's because it's an open-sourced model. Now, open-source models used to always be far behind the closed-source models that OpenAI was coming out with, but Deepseek just released only a month and a half after O1 came out, meaning the open sourced world is catching up really fast. And if you're new to AI, if you're new to coding, what open source means is that anybody has access to the code. Therefore, we can actually see how the reasoning models work. We weren't able to see how the OpenAI O1 model actually works because they didn't want to display that to the audience because that was their competitive advantage. Now their competitive advantage has been completely taken away with this R1 release. And in this abstract, we can actually go a little bit further because they have this Deepseek R1 Zero. And we're going to make a whole new video on the R1 Zero because what this model does is it has reinforcement learning as the only way that it learns over time. It doesn't start with a preset determined database that it's been trained on. There's no parameters that it's actually trained on. And this is something that we've never seen before. And so over time, as we start using this R1 Zero model, it's going to start learning from its own thought process. And this happens through its chain of thought reasoning. And the next thing about Deepseek R1 that is really cool is that they're releasing a ton of mini models that you can run on a bunch of different local computers. So they have like a $1.5 billion model all the way up to a 70 billion parameter model. And so like the 1.5 billion parameter model is so small that you can run it on an iPhone. And that's insane because this R1 model is so goddamn powerful. So the fourth point here of why the release is game-changing is just going to go a little bit deeper on the R1 Zero and just to explain a little bit further for you guys. So let's just read what this post by the company at Deepseek was talking about here. So they say, we directly apply reinforcement learning to the base model without relying on supervised fine-tuning. This approach allows the model to explore chain of thought for solving complex problems, resulting in the development of Deepseek R1 Zero. Deepseek R1 Zero demonstrates capabilities such as self-verification, reflection, and generating long chains of thoughts. And this marks a significant milestone for the research community, meaning we're getting a more raw model. Now, OpenAI or Google or Gemini back in the day, if you guys remember, they put a lot of guardrails on their AI models because of all of this DEI nonsense. And so in China, they don't have any of those restrictions, and this is a Chinese model, and that's why they're able to move so much faster. The only open source model that America has is the one by Facebook called the Llama model, but even they are not able to advance as fast as Deepseek DeepSeek because of all the regulations. Now with Trump in office, this is probably going to change things, and I'd like to imagine that Facebook's Llama model is going to catch up to DeepSeek. But even with this being said, guys, it's insane to see that we have DeepSeek R1 in our hands, and it's really cool to see what we're going to be able to do with DeepSeek R1.0. And so before we start playing with the actual DeepSeek API ourselves, let's explain what it means for the AI race. So the first point here is that OpenAI literally has no competitive advantage. And that's because OpenAI came out with O1 a month before the R1 release. But like I said before, it's a closed source model. Since we have the open source model, the whole world of developers now has access to the DeepSeek R1, and that's going to make the DeepSeek R1 evolve faster than the OpenAI model itself. So a prediction that I have is that in a couple of months, if OpenAI isn't careful, DeepSeek R1 will actually be even better than the O3 model that's going to be coming. The really quick TLDR about this first point is that we got to stop believing OpenAI's marketing hype. They're always coming out with announcements saying that they're creating AGI or creating ASI and all of this nonsense. And what we should start doing is start judging these companies based on the models that they're providing to us. And so the only thing that we can judge OpenAI off of right now is the O1 model that they've given us. And right now, it doesn't have any competitive advantage. Now, the second point is the entrepreneurial advantage. I'm on path to make 7 figures this year, and a bunch of people in the academy are on path to actually be very successful as well. But the entrepreneurial advantage is just accelerating for people in this niche. And the first point here is that our AI SaaS projects are going to be using the best AI models. And DeepSeek R1 is the world's best AI model, and it's open sourced, meaning we can run it, and it's now affordable for the first time. And so this rolls over into all other things in the AI world. So our automations are going to be cheaper because we can switch out the OpenAI models with DeepSeek. Our agents will be highly intelligent because it can go through a chain of thought reasoning instead of just the normal large language model system. And so the opportunity, guys, is that building software and automations that are world in class are now going to be coming at a low cost. And they're going to be highly profitable for even the solopreneurs that are building businesses by themselves. All right, guys, so let's start building with the DeepSeek R1 API. Now, in this video, our goal is to just test how good the AI model is. And in future videos, we're going to start making AI SaaS projects using the DeepSeek API. So step 1, guys, we're going to head over to the DeepSeek website. So now that we're in the DeepSeek website, I'm going to go to the top right corner here and click API platform. And this is where you can add your balance to your account and you can get your API key. Now, since the cost for this API is very cheap, I only added in a couple of dollars and I grabbed my API key, which we're going to now use to actually build out our application. All right, guys, so now that I got the API key here, we're just going to open up this Replit agent and we're going to build a very simple website that uses the DeepSeek R1 API. And we just want to see how good the API actually is. Okay, guys, so this first prompt is literally to make the website that we're building look exactly like something like this. While that's happening, guys, hit this video with a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the channel, it helps the algorithm, and it helps push us out to more people. And if this video is useful to you, then it's probably helpful for a bunch of other people, and it would mean the world. Let's get back into the video. Okay, guys, so we got the first little chat interface here. Now we just need to give it the API key. So I'm just going to let it know that. And so if you guys are starting out with AI code and no code, you guys are brand new to this, the best way to learn what you're doing is always by looking at the docs of the API that you're using. So we're using the DeepSeek API. So we're going to go to the docs just to see how to actually do the API calls. So we see that the base website is this link, right? So we can copy this link and we can go back to our Replit agent to let it know that this is the website that we're going to be using to call the API request. So I'm going to say, this is the request address. And I'm going to paste that in. We're going to head back to the docs, and now we're in the models and pricing, and we see that we need to call the DeepSeek reasoner model instead of the DeepSeek chat model. So now we're going to copy this in, and we're going to let the Replit agent know that. So now we're going to say the AI model we are using is this one, and paste that in. Here we can see, guys, that the max tokens that the model can do is 8,000 max output tokens, but its predetermined set is 4,000 tokens. So if we want to increase the output, we would have to let the AI know. I'm gonna let the AI know that we can do up to 8,000 tokens in its response. Now, last thing we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna go to this your first API call section, and then we're gonna copy the code of the example API call that it would use to actually do the DeepSeek call. And we're gonna send that to the agent so it knows everything that it needs to actually set that up for us. So we're going to send that in and we're going to say this is an example request. So after this update and after we give it the API key, then this chat should start working. Okay, cool. So now it's asking us for the DeepSeek API. We're just going to copy that key and paste it in. and click continue. And this is a cool thing with Replit, guys. It will save this Deepseek API to our account. And so in any application I build from here on out, I can now use that API key automatically, and I don't have to, copy and paste it in, and it just saves you a bunch of time. Okay, guys, so now we're gonna see if the chat page is working. So this is a reasoning model, right? So we wanna actually ask it a pretty complex question. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Claude, and we're going to ask it to create a high level question for the reasoning model. Okay, guys, so the question we're going to be asking the Deepseek R1 is, satellite is launched into an elliptical orbit around Earth, which is perigee at 500 kilometers above Earth's surface and apogee at 3,500 kilometers above Earth's surface. The satellite contains a cylindrical tank of liquid hydrogen. Initial temperature is 20 K. That's used as fuel for occasional orbit adjustments. During one orbit, the tank is exposed to Bro, this is ridiculous. Now that it gave us this really high level question, we're gonna see if it gets it right? So we're just gonna send this in. So we're asking like 4 questions. So okay, so now that we're back in our Deepseek R1 chat, we're gonna paste that in. Okay, we're gonna see what happens. Okay, so it's starting to answer the question, and this is looking unbelievable. So it just said this is a complex multi-part physics problem that involves orbital mechanics, thermodynamics, and material science. What's really cool here, guys, is that like the O1 model would probably answer this question as well, but it doesn't actually show you its reasoning. And here it's going through its entire reasoning, and right now it's reconstructing the question that I asked it. And this looks really, really cool, guys. This looks cool. So I think what I'm gonna do is, after this first little test happens, I'm gonna launch this Deepseek model in the description below so you can use it and test it out yourself. Guys, look at this equation that it's doing right here. Look at that. I don't even know what it's saying. The only thing I'm scared of now is that we're going to run out of tokens before it can create the answer, because we have 8,000 total tokens in its response that it's allowed to do, and right now it's looked like we're getting kind of close to it. So since this is a multi-step question, it's giving itself answers, and then it's using those answers to answer the next question. So like right here, it says, therefore, the phase transition from liquid to gas must be considered in the calculations. Okay, so it just finished the entire response. Now the thing is, it gave us the answers, but it gave us the answers all within the equation. So like here, it gave us the answer to B, here it gave us the answer to C. So it didn't give us the answers, separately. So we're just gonna give it that prompt. We're just gonna say, list out the answers to the question in JOT form. Okay, so it gave us the answers. What we're gonna do is we're going to copy in this answer and we're going to send it to Claude. So we're gonna say, this was the reasoning model's answer. Is it correct? Okay, so Claude just went through the answers that Deepseek gave us, and it gave us this assessment. So it said the model's answers demonstrate excellent physical understanding and quantitative accuracy. All values are physically reasonable and consistent with each other. The small discrepancies in orbital period and stress calculations are within acceptable engineering margins. So that's awesome. So got it right. That's ridiculous. So now that we got the response back, guys, we can see how much it actually costed. So we're going to go back to the Deepseek platform here, and we can see that this API call did fire off, and it didn't even cost us 1 penny. It cost us less than a penny, and that response was really, really long. So next steps here, guys, I'm going to launch this little Deepseek chat as a mini website in the link below, so you guys can use the Deepseek R1 really quick and have a chat with it and see how you like it. In the next video, guys, you're going to see me use the Deepseek R1 model and the Deepseek V3 models to actually make an AI SaaS that is going to make some real money. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.